I'm joined by Nebojša Malić, a foreign policy expert, for some analysis. So the EU, one of the most powerful political blocs in the world. Do you think we're likely to see statements attributed to Nuland damaging the relations with Washington?
Honestly, if I were a European Union official, I would demand an apology. But considering that they're on the same page with the U.S. government, considering setting up a client regime in Ukraine, I'm inclined to believe that Brussels and the officials there and the various commissars, including Baroness Ashton, would tend to gloss over this because, again, it's not necessarily what is done, but who does it to whom. And if so long as they're united in efforts to replace the government in Kiev with somebody more obedient, they'll tolerate the internal spats. Honestly, even the U.S. wiretapping of European officials hasn't really done much to damage relations, despite obvious problems with it. So I honestly wouldn't hold my breath to see the Europeans cleave away from the U.S. on this. On the other hand, it's very ironic that the U.S. efforts are being effectively undone by a wiretap phone conversation.
Now, Nuland has apologized, apparently, to the European counterparts before the State Department tried to kind of make light of it. Do you think it goes any deeper than that?
She's apologized for a comment that she's not admitting she made, which is itself a confirmation that the comment was indeed made. But what she hasn't apologized for is the plans to midwife a new government in Ukraine. In other words, she's apologizing for cussing out the EU, but she's not apologizing for trying to overthrow a government in Kiev, calling it popular democracy. Obviously, there's more to it than that. I don't think anybody in the U.S. establishment is sorry for what they're trying to do. I think they're very proud of it, and I think they're going to persevere.
Where do you think the reporting came from?
That I honestly don't know. I'm as stumped as you are. Again, I think it's most ironic that the U.S., which is collecting everybody's phone conversations and has been for years, had the tables turned on it in such a fashion. But as to how the phone conversation came to light, I have no idea.
The U.S. has accused Russia of hitting a new low. They've accused them for the release of this information. Given the U.S. global spying program, how do you take that?
Well, hypocrisy at its finest. We're entitled to wiretap the world, but Lord forbid somebody else does it. It's yet another confirmation of what I've been maintaining for several years now is the ultimate hypocrisy of Western policy. Again, it's not what is being done, but who does it to whom. When the United States spies on the world, that's fine and good. When the world spies on the United States, this is obviously horrible and won't be tolerated. When the U.S. purports to capture a phone intercept somewhere and doesn't authenticate it and treats it as fact, that's, again, fine. When somebody else uses a phone intercept of U.S. officials talking, that's obviously an outrage and won't be tolerated. Again and again and again, it's not what is being done, but who does it.
And what makes you think that just because they're talking back and forth about this, talking about the different people, talking about the different opposition leaders, that it's actually them playing some kind of game of chess? This is who will go here, this is who will go there. What power do they really have over it?
Well, consider who's funding these rebels and protesters, where their logistics are coming from. Consider the people that are, they say, okay, we need an international personality to visit. Lo and behold, there's an international personality. They say we need a high government official and identify him by name to bless this, and he does exactly that. I mean, there's obviously evidence confirming that this is actually going on. Considering that there's been pamphlets found among the rioters that are exact replicas of the ones used previously in Serbia and in Egypt, authored by the people who are on the payroll of the U.S. government through various non-governmental institutions and institutes. Again, it's not very difficult to piece the picture together.
How do you think that the particular comments about Klitschko will be greeted in Ukraine?
If I were Klitschko, I would be really, really upset. I mean, if I were the other two leaders of the rebels, I would be upset either. I mean, here we have a situation where a high-ranking official of the U.S. government, who's even been to Kiev and was distributing cookies to the demonstrators back when they were still relatively peaceful, is referring to these guys as glitch, Yahtzee, and tiny book. I would seriously be upset. I would consider this an insult.
All right, Nebojša Malić, thanks for your time.